Right everybody, today I bring you Suzuki's GSXS1000GX. Now this is a new bike for Suzuki. They're attempting to give a crossover model a bash. Now for those of you who don't know what a crossover genre bike is, in my opinion it's something of a sports tourer just with longer legs, a bit more of a longer suspension travel. It's giving sporty but it's also trying to retain, you know, a bit of a comfort element as well. So as well as being their first crossover model, it also has another first for Suzuki, which is their very own SAES, Suzuki's Advanced Electronic Suspension. So we've actually got top of the range suspension on this model, and Suzuki have never delivered a bike with electronic suspension. My name is Usernamekate, and if you're interested in finding out my first ride impressions on this bike and certainly focusing on that brand new electronic suspension and how it works, then definitely keep watching because I think this video is going to be for you. Before we get on this bike and give it a ride, I'm just going to give you guys a few stats and features regarding this bike. So this bike is priced at £14,799 and it's available in 3 different colour options. We have metallic Triton blue, pearl matte shadow green, which is this one, and glass sparkle black. If we take a quick look at the engine, this bike houses a 999cc inline-4 double overhead cam engine, which is derived from that K5 GX1000 engine, which is tried, tested and loved worldwide. The bike produces 150 brake horsepower along with 106 Newton meters of torque. If we take a look at the brakes, on the front we have 2 radially mounted 4-piston Brembo monoblock calipers astride 2 310mm floating discs. Quickly glancing over the tech of this bike, we have a 6.5-inch coloured TFT dash. We now have 7 levels of traction control in comparison to the 5 on the GT, and this bike has a cruise control as well as a quick shifter and auto blipper, and it's actually smart cruise control because you can use the quick shifter and blipper whilst the cruise control is activated and it won't cut it off. Other features with this bike, we have LED lights all round front and back, handguards and a height adjustable screen. Now it has 3 adjustable positions. It's currently in the lowest position, but if you do want to change it, it does require tools. You can't just change it on the fly, unfortunately. Suzuki have tried to differentiate this crossover variant from its existing sports tourer, the GSXS1000 GT, with a few alterations. For example, the riding triangle is altered to allow for less of a bend in the leg than on the GT. The rider's seat is 15mm thicker and the pillion seat is 10mm thicker. When it comes to ergonomics, with the bars on this, they're raised quite high as you can see, and they're also 14mm wider than on the GT for better hustlage, as I would say. Other quick stats to take into consideration: the bike has a seat height of 845mm, a wet weight of 232 kilograms and a 19-litre tank capacity. If we have a quick look at the hardware on this bike, the showstopper is that Showa EERA electronic suspension. Ram bam bam. Right guys, let's get riding Suzuki's GSXS1000GX. Right, so we're going to go over the tops of Rivington and I'm going to keep it in mode A and I'm going to put it in hard suspension and I'm going to set it to 2 riders, well, a rider and a pillion on the suspension, and I can already feel it creeping up in height. So let's go. So I'm just going to ride it in this mode just over Rivington, because this is this is spanking territory. So we'll see. Oh, damn son. So it's got acceleration because it's got that banging K5 Gixxer engine in it, or K5 derived engine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Suzuki, because it delivers power so smooth, so aggressively, and 150 brake horsepower on the road. Woo! It's more than enough. So I'm actually going to do a bit more of a deep dive on the suspension later on in the video. But I thought, oh look at the lambs, but I thought we'd just set off with, you know, the hardest possible suspension setting available on this bike, even though I don't have a pillion with me. So it feels very focused, it feels like it's on rails in this mode. Oh yes. The brakes are very progressive, not instant. You really have to squeeze the lever in to get any kind of reaction out of them. Now I know this bike is spec'd with Brembo monoblock calipers, but it does have a Nissan master cylinder, so yeah, it took me by surprise when I first tried to brake on this. I thought it would be a lot more immediate in the bite, and it's really not. So I accelerated towards my van and was gonna just like brake slam on for it. I just do it to kind of see what I'm working with the brakes, and I almost didn't bloody stop because I was expecting it to do a lot more than it did with the initial little squeeze. It didn't do much. So yeah, you really have to pinch it to get those pads working. Yeah, I was just expecting the brakes to be a little more efficient from just the first squeeze, but that throttle in A is responsive, good lord. So I'm actually going to try it in a lesser throttle response. Let's give it a go. Okay, so we'll go to B and then we'll shut off. So it's in basic mode now. So hopefully the throttle response will be a bit more muted, because it's quite, it is a sport mode. You feel like this bike just wants to go, go, go. Like, it's crazy. Oh, we got some rogue sheep. Stay there, sheepy. But yes, we've got a lovely clear dash, which is a 6.5 inch dash with all the connectivity. So you have this screen and you can do a lot from this interface, but I'm going to insert a clip now where I filmed all my B-roll stuff, where I show you the actual dash and you can go deeper into it. You can really fine-tune your preferences of the user mode, of the suspension settings, and just really get it dialed in exactly how you want it. But no, ergonomics, comfort wise, you know, there's differences from the GT with this bike. It's designed with your legs in mind, so you don't have so much of a dramatic bend in your legs. The seat is designed to be a bit comfier, but you also do have a premium seat available, which is quite spenny. It looks pretty nice. It does look a lot thicker and just looks more plush, and apparently it's supposed to be more comfy. Wow. But then you also have a low seat available, which again I think is £175. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself with the right value on the screen. Lots of traffic. But yeah, that's one good thing about Suzuki's bikes and this engine and all the electronics and the throttle. Like in B mode, it's just so manageable through town and through traffic and commutey built uppy areas. The seat height is 5mm lower than my GS, and I find it absolutely fine. Like, look, I've got a flat foot down because my bum's over to one side. But yeah, we have cruise control on this. Now the button to activate it is on the right hand side, and if I want to activate it I do kind of have to come off the throttle a bit because my fingers are quite stumpy. But then you can set it on the left hand side and you can, you know, slightly increase and decrease the speeds that way. The mirrors, I think the mirrors are absolutely lovely, nice and big, can see lots through them. I am really getting along with the screen on its lowest setting, but I'm one of these freaks that always goes for the lowest settings on screens. But I think it's because I'm just so used to naked bikes that sometimes when I have screens that are in the tallest setting, I can find them a bit like wind tunnely, a bit buffety. So I just kind of stick to what I know, which is like the screen on the lowest setting, and it generally works for me, so I can't complain there. Handguards are standard. We don't get heated grips as standard. That's a £300 extra. And that's the price quoted on the website, so there may well be labour on top of that if you were to get it fitted at a Suzuki dealer. Doesn't come with a centre stand as standard. Again, that's, I want to say, £470. We've got different billeted levers that are £135 each. Again, that might be excluding labour. And there is a black shorter windscreen as well, which is 55mm shorter than this, so it's just a bit sportier. But riding position on this, the bars are actually really high. Look, third gear, 18 miles an hour, chug chug chug. We're going to drop it down to second though, because we are taking the mick now with the speed. But yeah, I'm only having a short flit out on this bike, so when it comes to seat comfort, I'm not the best person to tell you how comfy it is. On initial impressions, you know, it feels like you can definitely feel the shape of the seat. Like, you can kind of feel that it kind of goes like that, but it's not uncomfortable so far. But no, just that little hoon then over Rivington with everything set in its sportiest setting. It's a very capable sports tourer with long legs, I guess. Right everybody, if you frequently watch my channel, you will know that I'm a 5'4" individual with a 29-inch inside leg measurement. Now this bike has a seat height of 845mm, so it's not the lowest bike on the market. That is the only seat height setting with this, you don't have multiple ones. So we'll see what it's like for me to throw my leg over this and sit on it. Okie dokie. So as you can see, if I do want to put both feet down, I am on my very tippiest of toe. If I just want to stop at lights, you guys know that I'm not adverse to scutching over a little bit so that I do have a flat foot. But if I do just want to put both feet down, it is a little bit stretched for my little gimp legs. Now I know you guys and girls are very interested in the electronic suspension and how that all works. So in this next selection of riding footage, I'm going to be solely focusing on the electronic suspension of this bike. Enjoy! Okay, right, if we look at the dash here, we've got the revs around here, we've got the miles an hour nice and big, we've got our fuel here, we've got a load of trip information at the bottom, so we've got how many miles until we need to fill up, we've got average speed so far, we have the odometer as well, and by pressing this button you can just rotate through everything. Now this bit is where things get funky. Here we've got the riding modes, here we have the levels of traction control, here we have the electronic suspension pre-formatted settings, and then here we have whether we want it auto, whether we want it set to one person with luggage, or one person and a pillion. So if we take a look up here first, we press the OK button. This highlights, we can have it in active mode, and when you select the mode it changes the presets of the traction control and how hard or soft the suspension is set electronically. Now if you don't agree with these you can manually change them, it's very easy to do so, but Suzuki suggests that if you're in mode A, which is active, you have the suspension a bit firmer, you have the traction control on level 5, it ranges from off to 7. If we press the down button it goes to basic mode, which is B, which is a softer throttle response, not as sporty. It sets the suspension automatically to M for medium, and it puts the traction control in level 4. So someone's messed around with this and changed it, because I can imagine that would be set a lot lower from standard, but anyway, that's beside the point. So we go to B, we have this, and then if we go to C we have the suspension on very soft, throttle's in comfort mode, traction control is on 6. Now here if we press OK it jumps to traction control, so you might want the throttle response in comfort but you might want less traction, and you can customize it that way, and the bike does actually remember it. So if we press OK again it'll take us to this where we can select whether we want the active dynamic suspension in soft, medium or hard, and I can actually feel the bike doing stuff right now. Then if we press OK again it takes it to auto, so now this will adapt the bike to how you're riding. So if you're hankering on a little bit and pushing on, it'll stiffen the suspension. If it senses that you're just bobbing along, it'll change it accordingly. So we can set it to auto, we can set it to one person, which is an average rider's weight. Don't quote me on this, but I'd assume it's around like 85 kilograms. Then we can change it to rider and luggage, and I can feel the bike lifting because the preload is you know, stiffening up a little bit so that it can take the extra weight. And then we can put it to 2 people on the bike, the rider and pillion, and I can feel the bike lifting up even higher now. So if this was in hard with 2 people, I would say this is going to be the firmest, sportiest suspension that the bike's going to be able to offer. So because we're having a mess around, we'll go back to the modes, we'll put it in A because mama didn't raise no pansy. We'll have the traction control in 5, I'm not too mad at that, and then we'll start it off in soft. Oh, we have a user one as well, so you can fine tune the suspension how you like, but we'll have it in soft, and then we'll press OK, and then we'll select it to auto so it can suss out how, you know, we're riding, the conditions, and it can adapt the suspension accordingly. Right, without further ado, let's try this one. Ooh, sounds good. I'll set off. Ooh, throttle response in A, very urgent, massively urgent, wildly urgent. Oh, okay, so soft. It's soft. I know that's like stating the obvious, but it's very soft. One could argue wallowy, in fact. But it's wildly comfortable. Like, it feels plush, it feels soft, it's noticeable that the suspension is set rather cushy. Like, this road is, you know, it's got a fair few bumps that you go over, and you kind of just blum, blum, blum over everything like it's squidgy. The suspension is bouncy. Not bouncy, bouncy is the wrong word because that implies like a pogo stick. It doesn't feel like a pogo stick, but it definitely feels mega soft. I wouldn't like to push on with it, with the suspension in this mode, because it does feel like it would bounce around a lot. So again, we're in auto and we're in soft, but we do have a very aggressive throttle response. Suspension travel on this, we've got 150 front and rear, which is quite a bit up on the GT actually. The GT I think has 130mm of travel in the front and 120 in the back. We're still going to keep it in soft, and we're going to go over Rivington, which is it's probably the most technical road that we have around here local to me, to really test it. But already back in auto mode A, so still, oh, what's that? I didn't recognise that before. That was strange. Okay, so we're in the National now. Throttle response is pretty wild on this. Like, mega. But we're going to try and keep within the realms of the law for the purposes of this review. Oh, throttle response in A is wild. Oh no! We've got this big boy in our way. Whee! See if we get an opportunity to overtake it. Hopefully we will. But there's not it, I can't see far enough ahead. And I'm glad I didn't. If in doubt, just calm down. Again, he's going over the line, he's taking up quite a lot of the road, so even though it was clear, the margins weren't enough for me to commit to that one. But if we're going off comfort, which is what we're testing, yeah, it's absolutely soft. Definitely a bit wallowy. Let's have a look here. You can see something. Oh, everything's coming now. But we'll go after this, as we can see it's clear. Oh, look at this. Drop it into 4, spring it up over here. Mega plushy. Oh, that throttle is pretty wild, you know. It's feral, in fact. It's like it wants to pull your arms out of the sockets. Yeah, a very aggressive throttle. Whew. Over these, just eating the bumps. Lots of gravel, great. Nat. So we'll just stop now and we'll pop it into, we'll keep everything the same except we'll put it in medium now. So we're still keeping it in auto. We're in auto still, but we're in medium, so we're hoping it's going to deliver a bit more of a firmer ride. Alright, well, it's instantly handling much better. Much better. I definitely feel more planted, I feel more in control. It's so less soft. I know that's obviously the aim of the game, with it being in medium and not soft, but at least what I'm gathering so far is that Suzuki actually have it is a noticeable difference. That throttle though is pretty intense in A mode. It is quite on off, quite choppy. Like, I knew that being in A mode it would be crisper, but it does sometimes just kind of take you by surprise a little bit. Yeah. Quick shifter and blipper works lovely. Oh yeah, definitely more confidence inspiring on these kind of roads in medium, 100%. I can imagine if you're just plodding along, riding quite in a docile manner, you've got a pillion, you're just having a chill, you want plushness, then it's not a bad shout. But then if you want to tackle the country lanes and give it, you know, a little bit more stick, medium is definitely a better shout. Definitely. You can see it's clear. Oh, that throttle! It's spicy. It's eager. Woo. So we got a learner that's just there with his hazards on. We don't have right of way here, but everything is clear, so we can go, go, go. You can see that it's clear. Thank you, sir. Medium makes this much easier to throw into bends. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in hard mode. Again, hard auto, still that crazy throttle response and still traction control on 5. Right, let's get it. It feels bags more sporty. Bags more firm. It's absolutely not messing around. Absolutely just soaking the bumps up, just soaking them up big time. Oh, okay, yep, firm over those potholes then, but it feels good. Oh, that engine says, you know, oh, Suzuki have such old tech. But it's one of the most iconic engines and they use it consistently for a reason across the platforms, because it's a beast. I'm not sure what the LF flashing is. Maybe lift function, I don't know, maybe anti-wheelie, I'm not quite sure, I haven't delved that far, but it's doing it, it's flashing quite a lot. So yeah guys, that is the suspension aspect of this review covered. I wanted to make a bit of a big deal about it, given the fact that it's Suzuki's first bike ever with electronic suspension. Show her at that, so it's quite a big deal for them. Quite a big deal. Well everybody, that concludes my vlog on Suzuki's GSXS1000GX. Guys, what do you think about this bike? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like how it looks? Do you think it fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down? I know I'm not all that enthralled with its looks, but of course they're subjective. If you guys have ridden this bike, what are your pros and cons? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? And if you're an owner and you've put on a substantial amount of miles compared to me, then please do share your thoughts in the comments as well, so other people who are thinking about purchasing this bike can hear the thoughts of genuine owners. Right guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit that subscribe button, and until the next time, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!